We're gonna go live. Are we live?
We're live.
All right, we are live, guys. Welcome back to Breaking Barriers Live. We haven't done these in a little while, but listen, it's always a special occasion. We got my Merinos in here. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, I'm ecstatic to have this podcast today. With me, obviously, as I mentioned, these two are a father-son dynamic duo. Own restaurant cleaners, and their story is phenomenal, right? And I want to start with you. Because obviously, you started the company, came to this country, with pretty much nothing, right?
Yeah.
And built something that now is second generation.
Mm-hmm.
This is epic. So for people out there who are like, who are these guys? Can you give them a little bit of a understanding?
Well, my name is Alvaro Merino. I came to New York in 1974. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I started working in my first job was a restaurant, cleaning a restaurant, by the way.
Right.
I used to clean a restaurant in City Island.
Wow.
Johnny's Reef, actually. It's called. You heard of it?
Yeah.
Johnny's Reef.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started working there, and so that was my first job. 15
First
years
one out.
old. Yeah. So I started working, and then that was a seasonal job because it closes in the winter.
Right.
So I moved to Queen Center. I started working in a restaurant called in Queen Center. It just opened a big shopping center, Cookies Stay Pub. I started working there as a dishwasher because I was 15,
Right.
I had no experience.
And for people out there who are wondering, where did you come from?
I was born in Mexico.
Okay, got it.
I was born in Mexico, so when I came here, I came from Mexico.
But you were born in Puebla, off the grid, like
Oh yeah,
Like backwoods?
if you try to look up his hometown on a map today, you will not find it.
Really? It's remote.
Well, actually, when I grew up, we didn't have electricity.
Get out of here.
When
Come on.
Yeah.
When I was born, we didn't have electricity. So when I grew up, we didn't have any, there's no movies. There was no supermarket.
So you come into New York, you gotta be like, wow, holy
Yeah,
smokes.
so it was
Wow.
a big change.
Yeah.
But my mother was, she always taught me, she always taught me the good habits, good things, and always taught me to learn and
Right.
to progress.
Right.
Yeah, so.
That's amazing. So, and I just want everyone to understand, like, that's such a crazy thing to come from, a place that's like remote, right? And desolate, no technology, no electricity and stuff.
Right.
Now you're in New York, you're working and stuff. Like, for people out there wondering, well, how did you think of starting your own business? What made you say I want to start my own business? I got to do this. What gave you that that dream to do it?
Well, like I said, my mother she had her own business.
Right.
Even in that little town, let me tell you a story. My mother would go because there was no supermarket there.
Right. Yeah.
There was no meat markets.
Right.
So the only meat that people eat is somebody kill a pig.
You had to literally go out there and do that. Wow.
They do that.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Wow.
She killed the pig that she sells to the people around town.
Correct. Right.
They come and get it. So my mother will go to the people who was raising the pig.
Yeah.
So he said, how much you want for the pig? They would say, maybe 50 cents a pound, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes to $200. I'm just going to make it easy to understand.
Yeah.
My mother used to say, I'll buy it from you. Really? Yeah, $200. Okay. But my mother would say, listen, I have $100 now. I'll give you $100.
That's right. Oh.
And then tomorrow, I'll pay you the other $100.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, Grandma.
So my mother would get the pig,
Mm-hmm.
kill the pig, sell the meat. She would sell the meat. We would still have chicharron for us, meat for us, the lard.
Right.
We keep it.
Which I love that, by the way. Oh
Delicious, yeah.
Dude, lard, it's bad for us, but dude, the lard is the best to cook with. Oh my God, being Portuguese,
So she made the $100 and she made profit. Then she will go and pay the person. So how much did she buy the pig for?
$200.
$200.
No.
So $100.
She bought it for $100.
Because then, correct. Her money was $100. Their money was the other $100.
Right. There you go. So she bought it for $100.
Bam.
Right.
Bam.
So then she would go to another, because my father was from another town.
Okay.
So they would go to another town with my father's family.
Yeah.
And they would do the same thing.
Right. Do it over.
Do it over. So she was an entrepreneur, my mother, by nature.
So you saw it from her.
I used to help her kill the pigs.
Oh
Oh
shit!
my
I
God.
used to help her.
I love it.
I've never killed a pig in my life.
Don't piss this guy off, Rob. We don't want to piss this guy off. Just kidding.
So my mother was an entrepreneur. So when we came to this country, she came also.
Right.
She came.
Oh, so she came with you guys when you came.
No, she came. Yeah, she came with my father,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a baby.
Wow.
So from that baby, so I came in 1974,
Okay.
and my brother was born, and then 2 years later, we got the legal residency
Okay.
because my brother was born.
Bam. Let's go, brother. Saving the day.
Let's
Brother
go.
saving the day.
So being an entrepreneur it came from my mother. So when I was working in Queen Center,
Okay.
then I started working as a dishwasher. But then I moved to prep kitchen.
Okay.
So I told the cook, I said, listen, why don't you show me how to cook? So he goes, okay, but you gotta stay after you
Like
clock
after
out.
work. Oh man.
After you clock out.
Right.
You know, because we don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
So I started from 8:30 to 5:30.
Mm.
And then at 5:30 clock out, and he would say, okay, this is medium rare, this is medium, this is how you cook roast beef, prime rib.
Right.
This is how you cook fish and lobster. So therefore, I learned. And I stay after work, you know, like maybe 2 hours,
Yeah.
you know, 1.5 hours every day. So soon enough, Louis Bendy came. He was the manager
Right.
at Cookie Staple. He said, George was my friend. George, I have bad news for you. What? He says, your partner, the cook, he called out. He's not going to make it today. And I called the agency.
Boom.
I called the agency and they don't have nobody. He said, no problem, Louis. Merino here knows how to cook. He said, what? Yeah, he's been staying after work.
And I've been teaching him.
I've been teaching him and he can handle it. Wait a minute, what were you going to tell me? He said, well, whenever it was needed.
Right.
And now it's needed.
So here we go.
So he knows. So.
And if you're just tuning in, guys, we're here with the Merinos, owners of Restaurant Cleaners, and the American dream is very much still alive.
Absolutely.
And this guy right here is proof of that. So, as you were saying.
So
you came in, boom, now you're cooking.
He comes, okay, you can stay, Merino.
Yeah.
But you got to leave at 10 o'clock because you got to do your shift tomorrow.
Right.
Stay until 10 and then do your shift tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Same thing. Next day.
So just doing it.
I did it. It was good. We have very good chemistry with George. We used to give service to 60 waitresses.
Wow.
That's a big
60?
60? That was a big restaurant.
That's huge.
So the next day, the same thing. Merino, the guy is not coming. You stay until 10, but tomorrow you got to do your shift.
Right.
On the third day, he goes, Merino, you stay till the end. The job is yours.
Bam.
Yep.
And that was you.
And that was me. I started a cook. So, and then, like I said, we were really good with George.
Yeah.
Then that was an open kitchen. You know, you can see your steak cooking.
You're looking at everybody. You're seeing what's going on.
Everybody's looking at the cook.
Right.
It's an open kitchen. So we didn't know, but there was two guys looking at us for a long time.
Yeah.
So one day they come and they approach and they say, listen, we'd like you guys to work for us. I said, why would we want to work for you?
Yeah.
We got a job, but we got a good team.
I'm good, yeah.
Right.
He said, well, we own an Italian restaurant and we've been observing you and we like the way you work. So come to work for us. So George, because he had the longest time, he said, let me go and test the waters.
Test it out, yeah.
So he went, he said, look, it's legit, man. They have an Italian restaurant, but they want to do a steakhouse at the same time. So George left. He went with them. So then they got another cook. Then I left little afterwards.
Okay.
So we joined another company. That was in 1976. I was making $240 a week.
Wow.
That's a lot of money for
back then.
Yeah.
So I always had that, like I said, from my mother to move ahead.
Want to keep going.
Right.
Want to keep getting more. Right.
So we stayed there. It was a good gig, but the restaurant burned down.
I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that. That was like out of left field.
Like it burned down.
We had a good thing.
I was making $240, and then the restaurant burned down.
Yeah.
No, but we had a good thing going. But the problem was, Phil. Well, I'm not gonna mention names.
Yeah.
But the two owners, they had a gambling problem.
Oh.
And they
Was it?
lost,
Oh, so it was planned, maybe you think?
we don't know, but
Insurance.
And they were Italian. They had an Italian restaurant.
But I don't want to mention names, but I don't know what happened. But the guy offers a restaurant. He said, "Listen, I see George and you.
Yeah.
So take the other restaurant."
Get in there. Right.
But I was too young. It was 1976.
Well, how old are you this morning?
18.
You're 18 now. Okay.
I was 18.
Yeah.
George was a little bit older than me, maybe 21.
Okay.
But he wasn't. His legal status wasn't ready yet, and I couldn't do it. My mother and father had gone back to Mexico,
Right.
and I was on my own, and I was too young, so we didn't take the restaurant.
Okay.
So it's okay, So then we would move on. I became a bartender. I became a waiter.
So the whole thing, I like it.
So you've been in every position within the restaurant. You've done.
Restaurant. I grew up in the restaurant.
Grew up in the restaurant business.
1985, I was a waiter. I was making $200 a day.
Wow.
1985.
It's a big jump from a couple years before.
Exclusive restaurant.
Huge.
So I was making $200 a day, but then I had applied to the post office because of the benefits.
Right.
A long time ago. So they finally accepted my application.
Right.
They said, "Merino, we got a job for you." So I left the restaurant business. It was a little bit less money, but more benefits, more secure.
And at that point, you already had a family, right?
So
you had your.
I wasn't really married yet.
Yes. Oh no.
I married in 1986.
Oh. Okay,
Next year.
Next year, but I already have my fiance. We were talking. So I was thinking future, security.
You need it. You need it.
Benefits, because the post office give you life insurance, medical insurance, a secure check every 2 weeks.
Right.
So I went to the post office, and I did work for the post office for 23 years. But
what did this guy not do? I love this guy.
So while I was in the post office, my wife's family were in the cleaning service. So they came one Thanksgiving. They came to visit us. By then, we already, in 1996, we moved to Cornwall, where we live right now.
Got it.
So everybody was happy. So they came in about 2000 something, they came to visit us. So I'm kind of jumping from 1985 to 2000.
Right.
Post office.
Right. Okay.
And during that time, you were living in the basement in the Bronx.
Before 1996, from 85 to 96, I was living in the basement. But I didn't tell you this. In 1984, 1983 was my crazy year.
Okay.
A rebel for a year.
You're just going out there doing your thing?
No, I didn't do nothing. I didn't work.
Oh, you said I'm done.
I didn't work. In 1983, I used to get on my motorcycle. I used to get one of those boombox radios.
Oh, my God. And you
station.
had an afro.
And I used to go to the beach. Yeah, I had an afro. I used to go
This
to the
guy's
beach.
a man. I love this guy.
The whole year I didn't work.
Right.
So one day, after 1 year of working, then I said, "Oh man, because remember I was working as a waiter.
Correct.
Waiters have a lot of cash, right?
Right.
A lot of coins.
Right.
So I used to throw my coins in the bucket.
Okay.
But I didn't work. I was collecting unemployment.
Okay.
But that's not enough. Believe me, unemployment is not enough.
No, right.
So I started using my coins, rolling out my coins, until I got to the pennies. First the quarters, then the dimes.
Right.
So I went to to a restaurant. I don't want to say the name again.
It burned down.
No,
It burned down. What happened? It burned down.
$2.35 for an order of chicken. That's how much it used to cost.
$2.35.
1985.
Wow.
$2.35.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Cheap.
crazy.
Cheap.
Order of chicken. Two
Yeah.
pieces of chicken.
On the cheap.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
That was the price back then. So I take out, give me one order. So I take
Right.
out my rolls of pennies,
Right.
and they said, we don't accept pennies.
What?
It's America.
Okay.
Exactly. That's what I said. This is America.
How can I take
This
pennies?
is a legal tender. You have to give me my chicken. He said, how do I know it's 250
Like it's a lot. I get it. He's like, come on, man.
coins in those rolls?
Right.
So I break them and I
Count
counted
them.
them.
Oh my goodness.
But I felt humiliated.
Right.
So I took out my chicken. I used to live in 97th Street and West 10th Avenue,
Okay.
New York City. So I took my chicken. I was feeling bad, really bad. So I went and ate my chicken. The next morning, I got up, took a shower, boom. Remember, no money. So I walked down Broadway from 97 Broadway all the way down, not door to door. I'm looking for work. I'm looking for work.
Right. And if you're tuning in, this is the road to the American dream, baby.
So I went to 35th Street. Also, I picked up a newspaper, anything.
Right.
I woke up that morning
Right.
Wanting to work.
wanting to work.
So something hit you and came over. You're like, I gotta get in.
That's
Yeah.
it, because I couldn't eat. I mean, they didn't want to serve me. So
Right. Right.
I woke up. I said, okay, boom. So there was this place that says, we'll train you to be a real estate salesman.
Whoa, what?
So I said, I'm looking for work. He said, yeah.
Let's
train
do
you.
it.
We'll train you. And
Rob, he's about to take your job next, dude. He's going for.
He's going for the videographer next.
So I took real estate classes from
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they used to go on. So, but this is a real estate agency. So they said, listen, so I started taking, so I got my license. But before I got my license, he said, listen, if you can sell, there used to be 7 points.
Okay.
7 points, 7% for the salesman.
Right.
He says, if you sell without a license, obviously you got to take somebody who has a
Right,
license.
Right. You gotta
Right.
do that.
You give them 2 points and you keep 5 points.
Mm.
Okay.
So that's fine. So I went in, I got it, man. I saw it, I got it.
Right.
So I went out and I saw my first one. I was on my motorcycle. Remember, no car.
Right.
Motorcycle.
Right. Yes.
So I used to go on my motorcycle, go make the sale. I used to make the sale, but I couldn't sign. So the person next to me would
Right,
sign
right,
2
sign.
points, 5 points for me.
Right.
The next day, go out, make another sale.
Right.
Yeah, it was so good. So the manager of the agency would say, "Hey, girls, come on, go with Merino, learn what he does, see what he does."
Right.
So people will come to see what I do.
Right.
So I did every sale, one sale.
Wow.
So from not having enough money to chicken,
He was like the Grant Cardone back then.
Yeah, the original, the OG.
You're like, we gotta watch this guy.
in
Sal's gonna hire him.
1983,
Right.
remember?
Right.
I didn't work.
Yeah.
1984, I buy a building in the Bronx. From not having chicken.
Come
Not
on.
having enough money for chicken.
Right. And he bought it with pennies. Could you imagine a truck came?
But it didn't burn down.
No
Building
burning.
didn't- No burning
No
down.
burning down.
So we bought a building.
Yeah.
That is still our building.
Today.
Today.
Let's go.
Now,
Let's go.
so with 1984, we buy a building.
Right.
For like how much? Like 18 or what was it? Like 18 or 30,000?
It was like 36,000.
36,000. A four
So-
family.
That's in four family.
Four
So,
family.
and if you're just watching right now, just tuning into the live stream, right? Now, came to this country from Mexico when he's 15, moved to New York, working his way up in restaurants, then was in the mail carrier business. Boom, now he's in real estate, he's killing the game. And, and now at this point, at one point, he was talking about how he couldn't, like, literally, he bought chicken with pennies and they embarrassed him and it was like a humiliating situation for him. And fast forward, right now he's buying his first building. I mean, it reminds me of that Drake song. He goes, "I'm gonna buy the building of every door that closed on me."
That closed on me. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
So boom, he's there, and now I don't know if you're watching this. The one thing I love so much is real quick, for people watching and listening, how much money did you come to this country with?
Oh, no money. Well, actually, because I came here as a tourist.
Just to see.
Yeah, no, I came as a tourist.
Right.
I had, I don't know, maybe like $200.
Okay, so now he's buying a building, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I want to do, because we have a couple minutes left. Now, fast forward, obviously, boom, we have restaurant cleaners.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm working at the post office.
Yeah.
We got the opportunity to get restaurant cleaners, and we started as a courtesy maintenance.
But your father-in-law kind of motivated you because he was doing the cleaning space.
He's
Brother-in-law.
My wife's nephew.
Oh,
got it. Oh, so okay.
It was my wife's brother-in-law, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his family already in the business.
Okay.
So they say, listen, man, there's so much opportunity. Let's do it. So he motivated us. So he started. So we landed Planet Hollywood. As
First
account.
contract. Times Square, Planet Hollywood, first account.
Dude.
First account.
Come on, everybody knows that's a big deal. Come on.
Yeah, Planet Hollywood was the place to be.
Right.
In 2000,
yeah.
2002, 2003.
We went on a trip there with my company. I took my leadership team there, and Planet Hollywood's still a place to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we were in Florida, but I'm saying like people still love that spot.
Yeah, and that was owned by Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a couple other
whole
partners. They were partners in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The original was Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Rocky. What's his name?
Sylvester Stallone. Yep.
That was the original founder.
Okay.
Then they sold it or whatever, but that's why
I never actually knew that. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Did not know that.
So they have memorabilia for actual movies.
Right.
Well, anyway, so we got their first account, but.
And what was that feeling like, though? So everybody who owns a business remembers their first account.
Their first big break, yeah.
Yes,
or their first account or their first big break,
What was that feeling? What were you feeling?
It was overwhelming. It was a good feeling. Now we have a business, and well, it was good, but it's just like the burnout. The guy took off with the money.
Stop it.
He brought us in, but because he's the one who knew the business, so all the checks were supposed to come to him, and then we want to get, my share and the share for the people. But he took off with the first checks, man. First two
I hate when that
checks.
shit happens, man.
Yeah.
So,
try to step over you.
I'm working with my employees, and I'm working there. My wife and I are working.
Right.
So there's no money, so I'm taking money from the post office.
Right.
Pay my guys, but it wasn't enough. So
so while you're still at the post office.
I'm working at the post office.
Okay, so you're in the post office. You're working here.
I work at night in the post office. Daytime in the I'm sorry. Day in the restaurant cleaning.
Okay.
Daytime in the post office.
Okay.
So I have money to pay them, but eventually I run out.
Right.
So the guy said, "Listen, if we don't get paid, I'm sorry, but we have to leave."
Right. Understandably so.
Right.
I said,
The employees said that. The employees said, if we don't get paid, we have to leave. Yeah.
I said, all right. So I go to Mike Burton. He was the manager.
Facilities manager.
I said, Mike, how come we're not getting paid? I mean,
what's going on?
He said, man, we paid. Here's the checks. They all cash. They all deposited.
Oh.
I said, but
come on.
I didn't get any money. And
my guys.
Yeah.
And you're going to be left out without a cleaning company. He said, don't leave. I'm on the next checks. The next checks are going to be for you. I'm not going to send them to Florida because he was
based in Florida. Right.
So he said, we can't pay the same company. You got to make another company. So that was
the start.
Isn't
it crazy? Isn't it crazy though how the uncomfortable moments like that suck, that push you to then do your own thing like that?
Right.
So that's when Mike, and he said, he kind of guided me along. We fire this company and you create your own.
Do your own thing.
So yeah, so that's how courtesy maintenance started. That was ours, you know.
Right.
The
Right.
other one, I don't remember.
And when you got the checks,
We got the checks. So
You went right to Atlantic City.
no. It was. I started November 15th.
Okay.
So it was Christmas Eve when I first got my first check.
Okay.
So remember all those guys?
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah. All those guys that left, I knocked on their doors. And I paid them.
Come on. Class
I
act.
like that.
And this
I like
is why,
that.
and today, so we literally have a couple minutes left, but and I have to ask you a question, but
Yeah.
what would you say would be your biggest lesson you learned from, being, a dishwasher to cooking to out of your whole career? What has been your biggest lesson you would give a piece of advice to somebody who's just starting?
I think being your own boss. Working for somebody else, you're never gonna get rich. And even working for yourself, you probably
Sometimes you never get rich. it's
Tell them you're saying if you take away all the money.
If you take away all the money from a rich person and give it to the poor, in a little while, the rich person is going to be rich again.
Right.
And the poor person
will have no money.
Will have no money. Because rich, it's a mindset.
Right. It's skills, it's learning, it's education, experience.
But even if you're not rich, but if you will live comfortable.
Right.
On your own business, and it's better. You have more freedom. You can do more things.
Right.
Or you can, but you have to work hard.
Right. To do it.
Right.
There's no such thing as
There's no clocking out.
Right.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah.
So let me ask you though, of a final question here. What has been the biggest source of inspiration that you've gotten from your family, your dad, and your parents, just being a young kid? Because a lot of people, there's two ways to go about it, right? Typically, people have parents that own businesses and they're either spoiled and they never wound up doing it, or you have the other one who they learn and they do something and you're doing something.
Right.
What do you think made you do that?
Yeah, I remember growing up, especially during the winter times, we have an actual fireplace chimney in our living room.
Right.
So I remember in the winters, we would all sleep in the living room, my brothers, my sister, my parents, and me, just because it was cool. It's nice to have a chimney there. And I would remember
I love that
it would be, midnight and you would start to hear my dad getting up. While we're all going to sleep, he was waking up to go to work, and that really stayed with me as I grew up, because I always saw the sacrifice that he made for our family, right? So we left the Bronx, he left the basement, he moved to a very large house and property in upstate, and he did all of that for his family. He worked hard for his kids, for their futures. So that to me, seeing the sacrifice that he made, the way that I put it is he worked hard, not so I wouldn't have to, but so that way, I can continue, what he learned and where he left off, So fast forward 2017, fresh out of college, I joined the company, and then, like you said at the start, right, we just became a dynamic duo. A lot of times it's not easy working with family. We've just always kind of clicked, we've just always found a way to keep on going forward. And with his mentorship and just learning from others and working hard, we've been able to build a business that that I know that we're proud of. And that
how many people do you guys have working for now?
We have over 60 people working.
Come on,
for us
let's
now.
go.
Yeah,
let's go.
Over 60 right now. It probably even more than that at this point. But we're
just paying for pennies for chicken.
Yeah. No, it's crazy to see where he started from, right?
Yeah.
He said in Puebla, Mexico, they didn't even have what'd you say, electricity, right? To where he was able to go and bring us here today.
Yeah.
So for me, I've said it to him and I've said it before, he's my inspiration, he's my hero.
Love it.
And I'm very fortunate to be able to learn from him.
How does it feel to hear that?
Oh man, it's
because I have my first child now, and it's to hear your son say that.
Very, very fulfilled. I'm very satisfied. I think whatever I started, he's going to continue.
Damn.
I'm going to retire probably soon.
Right.
But I know there was a time when we started with the company I was afraid if I lose one account with the biggest account.
It's like,
Right.
oh shit.
You know what?
Right.
And we just moved to Cornwall, the mortgage. I said, "Oh my God, I can't lose this account."
I know the feeling, dude.
Right.
I remember those. I remember those
Yeah.
feelings.
Go back,
Yeah.
go back to the Bronx.
Right.
I mean, no, and that was my motivation.
And it kept you going.
I said, we can lose an account because if I lose an account, I might have to
Move back.
And we had a good thing going. So, but I'm very satisfied and thankful that he is able to pick up where I started and continue, and I'm sure he'll do well.
Yeah.
We work,
There's no doubt about it. This guy's the savage.
well, actually,
You raised a good dude.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
so
Thank
I
you,
was
I mean
Pops.
that. I mean
I
Thank
was
you.
old school. I was managing the company old school.
Yep.
He was micromanaging, wearing all the hats. You know,
Oh.
he was doing everything.
Right. To ensure success, you want to make sure everything's happening.
Right.
Everything. Yeah, I was invoicing. I was collecting. I used to drive to the restaurants to collect checks.
Right.
I used to
Right.
supervise the people. I used to work. I used to get on my knees and pose under the stoves. But he came in with fresh ideas. He said, "All right, you gotta have an accountant. You gotta have a
Right.
manager for this."
Get the experts in so
Right.
you can focus on
Right.
So-
right.
He came in with fresh ideas, with everything. So I said, "Okay, fine." So honestly, I don't work as hard anymore.
He
as
made
I
it
used
happen.
to, because he
That's awesome.
implemented a lot of new things that help us, have a little more freedom.
So, hey guys, if you're tuning in, you have to go follow these guys. Where can people follow you guys on social, see your website? If you're a restaurant watcher right now in the city, you got to know these guys, but tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you could from Instagram to Facebook to the website, it's Restaurant Cleaners. So
I love
at
it.
Restaurant
Simple.
Cleaners, yep, straight to the point. Our website restaurantcleaners.com. So it's straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Yeah,
The American
absolutely.
dream is very much so alive. I'm so grateful for you coming today. Thank you, my friend. Danny,
John,
oh,
it's
thanks, my
always
man.
a pleasure.
Yes.
Always good
These
to
guys,
see
you
you.
have to go follow them. Again, if you're a restaurant owner, if you know restaurant owners in the city or in the New York area, you got to call these guys. The hardest working family in New York when it comes to restaurant industry. High integrity. They love what they love what they do. They love their people.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. You guys treat your people right. So give them a look.
Oh, tomorrow we have an barbecue.
Our company barbecue is
For the
tomorrow.
company,
Let's go.
For the employees.
For the employees
Let's
and their
go.
families. So we have 2 school buses RSVP'd
Wow.
for the employees and their families.
Bring them in.
Yep.
Guys,
Yep.
class acts. This is
Yes.
amazing. Thank you guys